facility. She's in dire need of your help. So what solution do you have for Aisha? Now, World Health Organization have actually told us that there's a lot of resistance when it comes to malaria treatment and has actually tried to subside 4 resistant drivers that we know. The first one is drug pressure. I am happy that pharmacist Emmanuel has already put us through the multiple first line and the rotation strategy when it comes to malaria treatment. So we do not have to dwell on just one particular ACT because there is increase of resistance when that happens. Now, secondly, is the subtherapeutic drug levels. Just like he mentioned that there are a lot of brands of anti-malaria, most especially AL. We have a lot of them, over 1,400. Now, it is very, very pertinent that it could be that Aisha has been using substandard drugs, thereby reducing the subtherapeutic drug level, thereby increasing resistance as well when it comes to malaria treatment. It could also be that Aisha have been having low adherence because she works round the clock. She might not really have that time to complete her dosage regimen of 0 hours, 0 to 8 hours, the next one 24 hours. She can't keep up with that. It is also possible that Aisha has not been able to adhere to her drug because of the smell of drugs. There are actually people that they do not like drugs. So because of that, it could also lead to non-compliance when it comes to Aisha's case. It is also possible that because of increased resistance that we are having, they reduce drug sensitivity, thereby there is increased risk in transmission of the parasites. So the cycle goes on and on and on and on. Aisha is still out here waiting for you in your facility. She wants a solution for her problem. She's tired. She has been going on and on with failed malaria treatment. And you look at Aisha, Aisha looks at you back. What solution do you have for Aisha? And when it comes to the major drivers of resistance that we have, that we know that Aisha has been facing is drug pressure. Throughout the year, Aisha has been using just one particular ACT in treating herself. The low compliance is actually could be due to her busy schedule. She cannot really keep up, so she wants a once daily dosing that she can actually comply with that could increase compliance when it comes to her case. So, dear young pharmacists, you need to give Aisha a solution. It's actually in our hands to give Aisha the solution that she needs. We should not forget also that when there is increased adherence, reduced infectivity, thereby curbing the resistance when it comes to malaria treatment. It is also of essence that we adopt this critical use of the new innovations that we have now, like Paramax. Aisha is in front of you. Now, at this junction, I would proudly introduce us to the viable anti-malaria we have, which is Paramax, solution for Aisha's case. Paramax is potent, Paramax is reliable, and Paramax is simple to use. It's actually the latest AC3 treatment recommended by World Health Organization, and also it's the only first and only fixed dose combination of artesunate and pyronidine. It comes in 2 formulations, basically the granules and the tablets. So I'm still going to refer back to what my colleague has talked about when it comes to recommendation by World Health Organization. Now, currently in the public sector, we have Paramax actively being recommended and prescribed to patients to help curb malaria cases, to reduce the mortality when it comes to malaria in Nigeria. So we're all backed up with World Health Organization. World Health Organization has given us the go-ahead to say, oh yes, even in the private facility, please recommend Paramax to effectively treat malaria because it targets not just one strain of malaria, 2 strains of malaria, P. vivax and P. falciparum. Also, Paramax has been adopted into 12 sub-Saharan African countries that are also facing the same issue when it comes to malaria. Nigeria is not left out. It has also been adopted in Nigeria as a first-line treatment for malaria. So please, this is the solution that Aisha has been waiting for. She has now been introduced to a new innovation molecule, which is Paramax. Paramax, which contains pyronidine and artesunate. She has actually been introduced to optimal therapeutic drug level of a drug known as Paramax. there is actually increase in compliance because of the convenience that Paramax gives once daily dosing, and also the test is maxed to, to actually increase the compliance when it comes to Aisha's case. So now how does Paramax work? We know very well that once the sporozoid gets into your blood, it goes straight to your liver, it proliferates to merozoites, it runs to the red blood cell. Here, what happens is that the parasite engulfs your hemoglobin, okay? Now, when this your hemoglobin is being engulfed, it forms a drug complex. Now, this drug complex is what prevents the free heme that is being produced. This free heme is very toxic to the parasite. So to neutralize this free heme, there's supposed to be a polymerization process. Because of the complex that is being formed, it prevents that polymerization process from hematine to hemazoin, thereby increasing the free heme, leading to perioxidative processes that eventually leads to the death of the cell. Now you've given Aisha a solution that she has been waiting for, Paramax, which is said to be potent. It is reliable and it is simple to use. Paramax comes in granules form and tablets form. For the tablet form, we have artesunate, the strength of 60 milligram, and pyronidine, 180 milligram. We go back to the granules form, we have pyronidine, 60 milligram, and artesunate, 20 milligram for treatment. So Aisha walks into your facility. She doesn't just need an anti-malaria with excellent cure rate. She needs an anti-malaria that the cure rate can be sustained over time. Wanekam study, the good thing is that my colleague Emmanuel has already introduced us to Wanekam study. Wanekam study was carried over a period of 2 years to monitor the particular population that used Paramax in comparatively with other conventional anti-malaria. On day 42, for the population that used Paramax, Paramax showed 99.6% excellent cure rate sustained over time. So you're not just giving Aisha an anti-malaria with excellent cure rate, but you're giving Aisha an anti-malaria that the cure rate can be sustained over time. Remember too, that Aisha has a really busy schedule. So she doesn't want an anti-malaria that once you give it to her, she's back really ill, or she feels dizzy, or she gets a little bit sick before she gets better. Now, this Wanekam study here has given us that guarantee that Paramax, within 24 hours, your patient is being relieved of symptoms of malaria. So within 24 hours, Aisha is back to her feet and running. Remember too, that you're not just giving an anti-malaria with excellent cure rate that can be sustained over time. Paramax confers post-protection coverage, which means that there is less reoccurrence. So Aisha comes back after 3 months telling you, oh my God, thank you so much. The anti-malaria Paramax you gave to me, I have not been visiting the hospital or the pharmacy after that. I have been protected. Now, pyronidine has a half-life of about 14 to 18 days, which confers the post-protection coverage to your patient, Aisha. Also, Paramax just cuts across not only the adult population, but also the pediatric population. A randomized control study that was being carried out in the southwest part of Nigeria had actually ascertained the efficacy and safety of Paramax, not just to the pediatric population, but also to the adult population. The Paramax granules also can be suspended in milk too, to increase palatability, because what we're trying to bridge the gap is to bridge the gap of resistance. So we would have more compliance with the pediatric population because the text is well maxed to prevent bitterness. So the safety profile of Paramax have been established. Paramax is safe all through the adult population and pediatric population. Now, it's no more a news that NAFDAC have released that there's a delisting when it comes to the oral powder, artemether lumefantrine, because of the instability when it comes to it. So remember, what we are trying to prevent is suboptimal doses of drugs. When it comes to Paramax, you're guaranteed of efficacy, safety, and tolerability. So now we should not also forget that with Paramax, you're sure of, in the real life study, you're sure of effectiveness. So it doesn't just end when it comes to efficacy. In real life study, cancer was actually one of the largest real life study in malaria. It was a comparative study that compared AL, artemether, artesunate amodiaquine, and Paramax as well. Now, World Health Organization said for any anti-malaria to be called effective, it needs to have more than 90% threshold. Paramax attained that height and more. Paramax had 98.6% in real life study compared to artemether lumefantrine, which was about 89.8%, and artesunate amodiaquine, which is about 89.7%. So when it comes to efficacy, Paramax is assured. When it comes to post-protection coverage, Paramax is assured. When it comes to reliability, Paramax is assured. So now it is time for us to break that cycle for your patients like Aisha. What innovations are you taking into consideration when it comes to treatment of malaria? Please ask me how. How do you break this cycle? There's actually a boost of compliance when it comes to the usage of Paramax. Once daily dosing to increase compliance with our patient, child-friendly granules to increase compliance with our patient. It can be taken with or without food. The availability of food or the non-availability of food does not affect the efficacy of Paramax. And Paramax is well tolerated in the body. So now I'm going to take you through the different weight bands and usage of Paramax. So starting from the granules, we have 5 kg to less than 8 kg would use 1 sachet daily for 3 days. For 8 kg to less than 15 kg would use 2 sachets daily for 3 days. 15 kg to less than 20 kg would use 3 sachets once daily for 3 days. We'll go over to the tablets. From 20 kg to less than 24 kg would use 1 tablet daily for 3 days. For 24 kg to less than 45 kg would use 2 tablets once daily for 3 days. 45 to less than 65 kg would use 3 tablets once daily for 3 days. And for 65 kg and above, would use 4 tablets once daily. Now, I've shown you an anti-malaria, which is Paramax, that is potent, that is reliable and simple to use. It is taken once daily compared to artemether lumefantrine and dihydroartemisinin pyriparaquine. Efficacy doesn't depend on the availability of food or none. It targets 2 strains of malaria parasite, which is P. falciparum and P. vivax. It is not limited to number of treatments per year. And interestingly, only 2 packs can cover the entire age range group. So now, why wouldn't you do Paramax for your patients? Why? An anti-malaria that can confirm effectiveness in real-life study, an anti-malaria that can give you excellent cure rate, post-protection coverage, and also a boost for compliance, which cuts across the adult population and the pediatric population. Now, when it comes to the future of malaria treatment, it lies in our hands, YPG. It solely lies in our hands. So resistance would not wait for us, but with every recommendation that we make, we help to shape the fight against malaria therapy when it comes to resistance. I want us today to be the solution by choosing Paramax. Thank you so much for giving me a listening. Can we still hear me? Sorry, I can't see. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone, for giving me a listening ear. I'll be ending now. I'm open to questions, and I'll be here to give you reply and answers for all your questions. Thank you so much for having me, and thank you so much for listening to my sweet voice. Thank you so much, everyone.
Who say your house voice? Amen.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, pharmacist Eniobong, for those valuable insights into product choice. Let me say into yes, product choices, their safety profiles, and the rational use of some strategies that pharmacists should implement. So your session was both educational and practical. Thank you so much, ma. And now I will open the floor for questions. So feel free to type your questions in the chat box or raise your hand to speak. Let's engage our speakers while their insights are fresh and accessible. So I can see two hands. So we're going to entertain five questions due to time. Part two. Okay. Um, Joseph Dogara, you have 1 minute to speak, and let's hear your question. Thank you so much.
Uh, Good evening to everyone.
Joseph Dogara, you have the floor for the next 1 minute. If Joseph is not here with
Good
us,
evening to
okay.
everyone.
Joseph is not here with us. Okay. Hello. We can't hear you.
Hello, fam. Can anybody hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
It turns out Joseph Dogara is having a call of meeting, so you can go ahead and continue.
We can't hear you.
Hello, everyone. Hello.
Hello, we can hear you.
Okay, so who wanted to speak?
Anybody speaking, please?
You need
I,
your
I
mic.
want to speak.
Okay, did you have the stick?
Hello,
I can hear you now.
So we can hear you. Please. Okay, so I
my
think we want to.
question. I just have question.
Please ask your question. The
My question
stage.
is about artemether and lumefantrine.
Okay, proceed.
Uh, the thing I used to observe is that in my area pharmacies they used to sell the different prices.
Okay, thank you very much. So, if I hear you clearly, you said in your area they used to sell Archibeta Lumef and train different prices. So definitely it's going to be so because there are different brands. So and that different brands can be supplied to them at different prices. So definitely there are no fixed prices for any medication. So there are no fixed prices for any medication. So depending on where the person is sourcing his or her drug from. So selling different prices is expected. So if there's no other question, I should just I can answer some of the question on the
I
chat
have a
box.
question.
Let,
I have a
Okay. Yes.
okay,
Please, I have
please.
a question.
Please, everybody should hold on. We'll take it one by one. And we'll start with the questions in the chat box. Then we'll go to everyone raising up their hands, please. So let's start with the questions on the chat box because they've been there for a while now. Please. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So let me just take some of the questions on the chat box. Somebody is asking, Catherine, why can Pyramax be used in pregnancy? Okay, so according to WHO guideline, the only molecule that can be used in first trimester pregnancy, emphasis on first trimester, is artemether lumefantrine. That's the only molecule that can be used in first trimester pregnancy. But outside first trimester pregnancy, from second trimester, you can use any other um, ACT from second trimester. So this is the recommended guideline, and this is also what is obtainable in practice. So you cannot use, or there is no study yet. There is no study yet to back the use of artesunate pyronidine in first trimester, but it can be used in second trimester and in third trimester. So the only recommended and approved for first trimester is artemether lumefantrine. I hope I answered that. I have another question here. Somebody said, what are the side effects? What are the side effects of artesunate pyronidine? And is it safe in pregnancy? So I've answered the part of safety in pregnancy. So side effect, so just like every other, just like every drug. So the side effects are mild and transient, and they are easily resolvable. So, but some you can easily see. Some of the side effects you may get with artesunate pyronidine is abdominal pain, about 1.9% based from the studies or the data available. So about 1.9% of the patients can come down with abdominal pain, and this is common with all drugs that you take orally. So most of the drugs that are taken orally, you can have abdominal pain. And about 4% of the patient pool, 4% of them can also come down with vomiting. And this is also, associated with oral medication. When the patient is sick, you tend to see vomiting, about 4% of them. So this case is also peculiar with every other molecule. In fact, so we have a data, a study that was also comparing the efficacy safety profile for all the molecules. So the MSCs or the vomiting that is being noticed, the abdominal pain is statistically insignificant when you compare it to artemether lumefantrine. I hope I answered that question. Another question on the chat box. Okay, so another side effect you may get is anemia. About 2.2% of the patients will come down with anemic condition, shortage of blood. This is associated with malaria. When the patient is having malaria, there tends to be rupturing of the red blood cells, The more the red blood cells that rupture, the more anemic the person becomes. But Pyramax has one good thing. The, the good thing with artesunate pyronaridine is that the pyronaridine molecule attacks the chematin in the food vacuole of the plasmodium, causing a drug hematin complex. So therefore, stopping further rupturing of the red blood cells. So the amount of anemia you will get when a patient is on artesunate pyronaridine molecule is far, far lesser than the amount of anemic condition you get when the patient is taking other molecule. So I hope I'm able to trace that. So that's why if you look at my slide, one of the studies I showed that it helps good hemoglobinopathic recovery for patients. What is another one? I'm
I
trying to
think
look
we
so
have
I
other
don't.
questions. But looking at the
Okay,
time frame, and then we'll
okay.
also be having this is almost 2 hour, and then we will be having the webinar quiz. So I don't know if others. That's why initially I asked that young pharmacists that would like to reach out, so you can have discussions even at the molecular level, sir, so that you guide us
Okay,
through
that's
more
fine.
proper, because this is just an enlightening session. So I do hope that you share your
That's fine.
contact maybe through YPG or through our chat box, or maybe your email, which is more proper, so young pharmacists can reach out and then you take it off from there, sir.
That's fine. That's fine. I will
Yeah, but
drop
I
my
don't know
email
whether you
on the
have
chat box
maybe a
as well.
general comment with respect to all the questions being asked, so, because they are thoughtful questions.
Okay, thank you very much. So, my general comments for us as young pharmacists is that it's a call to duty, is a call to action that we should join hands as colleagues to partner with organizations, malaria organizations, to ensure that we eradicate malaria from our country. I want to see that time in our life and history where we hear that young pharmacists was able to thrive malaria prevention and control to the barest minimum in Nigeria. And it's taking us away from high burden, high impact country. We need to go out of it. We have the manpower, which is the young pharmacists. And please always ensure to do that. You have to be in tune with WHO guidelines. You have to be in tune with multiple first line. You have to be in tune with diversification of your portfolio. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Pharmacist Emmanuel. But sorry, it skipped my mind. To do justice, sir, can we just take a look at the comments from the chat box, or let me say questions from the chat box? Sorry. One is with regard to uh, Hillary, that there is a strong evidence of resistance to PA and DHAP, that's dihydroartemisinin and piperacin. So what if a patient came complain that he or she took AL, it didn't work, switched to DHAP, no much effect? What would be the next line of action? Will you advise to go for another first line of proof if the patient actually has malaria? Then we have another one. Please, why not compare the half-life of Pyramax with, uh, P-Alaxin, commonly known as this dihydroartemisinin piperacin, and then pharmacies Ifesita, that did you say it's safe in pregnancy, all trimester, and all of that. So just check a look at it and also have a comment, and then we'll appreciate if you can drop your email so young pharmacists can reach out proper, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. So let me start with Hillary. Strong evidence of resistance of pulmonary artesunate and DHAP. Okay, so from the data we have available, from the data, in fact, the biomarker for resistance for Plasmodium falciparum Couch13 biomarker resistance was actually shown to be resistant to the piperacin molecule. So we have other biomarkers that have shown resistance to lumenfantrine. Like I said, first of all in Cambodia, now we have Tanzania, Uganda. So at the moment in Nigeria, there is no data confirming or showing the resistance to pyrrolidine and tesonate. But there is data showing resistance to dihydroartemisinin piperaquine. Most especially because the piperaquine biomarker was even what was used for the Plasmodium falciparum TOX13 mutation genome. So that is that. So we speak to data to this effect. And if a patient has taken antimetal lumefantrine, can you switch to yes? So that is the that's part of the multiple first line approach, the rotational strategy. So the rotational strategy is that always rotate your patients on their different molecule, either every 2 years or you rotate every year for your patient. However, if your patient has taken AL and there's a failure on AL, so it's better you switch the patient immediately to a newer molecule, because if you do a treatment, the tendency there will be another failure is there. Why? Because for the unadjusted ACPR, AL does not capture whether it is a recrudescence or relapse. But with the newer molecule like pyrrolidine tesonate, it can be used and it has shown excellent efficacy for retreatment purposes. You can switch to that effect. So the other one, somebody talked about, okay, all stages, I've talked about pregnancy. I think if Ifesita was not here, it can be used in second and third trimester, but it cannot be used in first trimester. There's no data backing its usage for first trimester. Seeing somebody talking about comparison of the half-life between PA and the hydroxychloroquine. Yes, like I said, lumefantrine has a half-life of 3 to 4 days. Amodiaquine have a half-life of 10 to 8 days. Pyrrolidine have a half-life of 14 to 18 days, while piperaquine have a half-life of 42 days. Like I said in my lectures, that piperaquine is a good molecule because it has a longer protection as well. And what confers longer protection to ACTs, it is the half-life. So pyrrolidine have an intermediate half-life of 14 to 18 days, while piperaquine has a longer half-life of 42 days. And if you understand your pharmacokinetics very well, it takes about 5 seconds for there to be complete elimination of half-life of the drug. So with a longer half-life, yes, there's supposed to be a longer protection, but at the end of the day, that is what is placing limitation on the use of the piperaquine molecule. I don't know if you know, but for the sake of information, you cannot use the piperaquine molecule more than twice in a year. You cannot dose the piperaquine molecule more than twice in a year due to the longer half-life. So it's recommended you dose just twice a year if you want to use the piperaquine molecule. But the intermediate half-life of pyrrolidine, 14 to 18 days, when you do a 5-second elimination, that means you are going to eliminate within 3 months. So you can dose, for the treatment purposes, you can dose pyrrolidine molecule more than twice up to 6 times in a year. So I just hope I answered that question, but I will drop my email on the chat box for those that want to reach out. They can still reach out as well. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much, Pharmacist Emmanuel. Thank you to everyone for your thoughtful questions, and thank you to our speakers for providing clear and insightful answers. So, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the time has come for the highly anticipated webinar quiz. You have listened, learned, and now it is your time to shine. The quiz link will be made available in the chat box. Remember, first prize 25,000, second prize, how much? Can somebody guess the second prize? Let me see if we are together.
15,000.
Third prize. So nobody can guess the third prize.
15,000.
Oh. Somebody said 15,000.
Like,
10,000.
All right, all right. So, ladies and gentlemen, young pharmacists, it is time that we have all been waiting for. The main webinar quiz will be officially live. Remember what's at stake: 25,000 naira, 15,000 naira, 10,000 naira, sponsored by our wonderful partners at Pharma Symbiosis and Pyramax. So, important instructions: no moderators. I don't know why. Don't ask me. No executive council member, no organizer are allowed to participate. This is exclusively for our amazing attendees. So kindly click on the link that will be shared in the chat box, enter your full name, and keep your screen on that page. Remember, keep your screen on that page, and you have limited time. So move fast, think smart, and good luck. So Pharmacist Oluchi, you can drop the link on in the chat box. And the only thing I have for now is to say, may the sharpest minds win. Let the competition begin. So Pharmacist Linda, you can drop the link. And you have only 10 minutes to answer. 10 minutes only. I think, sorry, 5 minutes. Please correct me if I'm wrong, Pharmacist Linda.
So you have 20 seconds for each question.
Yeah,
Please,
yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember
I
20
already sent,
seconds for each question.
I already
And we're
sent
going
it.
to have a total of 15 questions, right?
Yes, please. Or even
Yeah,
more.
15.
So
All
please,
right, all right. So depending on the, so for each question, you have just 15 seconds, 20 seconds
20
to answer
seconds.
to stand a chance to win 25,000 naira or 15,000 naira or 10,000 naira. And remember, after this, you still have another chance to submit your creative 1 minute creative video about your impact in the fight against malaria, and that can lead to your full package sponsorship or accommodation and conference duration sponsorship from Pharma Symbiosis. I can't wait to be in Kano. Let's get this bread together. Thank you. So, Pharmacist Linda, over to you for the quiz session.
Okay, so please, are we joining, or do we find it difficult to use the link? Please let me know your feedbacks.
The link is not opening.
It's not opening. I think it's your network, or who else has the same issue? Because we need to make this very fast. I'll share it again. I just shared it again. Please try
What has
again.
been opening?
Please, some people have joined though. Some people have joined. While they are saying it is not, but some people are joining though. So try. Maybe it's your network.
Enter your full name, and remember to keep your screen on that page. Keep your screen on that page. As men of honor, we join hands for pharmacy. Please reload if the link is taking too long to respond. And for those that are saying the link is not opening, please try it again. "72 users have already joined. Keep the numbers coming. 72 users have already joined.
Hello, everyone. Are we there now? So we'll be starting. I think a large number of people have joined. I just want all of us to be there so that we don't miss out. Okay. Please just keep your screen on. Don't leave that site. Just keep your screen on. So I will start on the count of 5. 1, 2, 3,
Pharmacist Linda, please,
4,
please,
and
Pharmacist
5. We have
Linda,
the first question.
Pharmacist Linda,
We have the first question.
Pharmacist Linda.
Hello. Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you. We already started. Hello, we've started.
Okay.
We started. Please, can you see the question? We've started. Oh. Next question. Your votes. Okay. Next question. I hope you are all following my question 3 now. Please let's make it happy.
Please send the link again. I did not join. Please send the link again. I did not join it.
We've already started, so I don't know if
You can, if the link is there, kindly send again to her. Just copy and send it again to her. If the link is there, okay, she didn't get it. Okay, quickly,
Yes.
I'll type I'll send the link here again.
Okay, ma.
Okay, I'll send the link so you can still join.
Okay, ma.
Next question, everybody.
Hello.
Yes, hello, I'm here. We're going to the next question. I'm trying to make this really fast. So please, next question, please.